Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to tonight's second half. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help. And guys, it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's second half, shall we? All right, everyone. Today I have a subscriber who lives in the vicinity of West Virginia, what I've been talking about for the last couple of months, and we've seen a lot of encounters coming out of. He's a tractor trailer driver out of there, so he's on the road a lot, and he sees a lot of crazy things. Well, what he's going to share with us today is probably one of the most crazy things he's ever seen during his route. Mark, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on and taking some time out of your day to share what you saw that fateful day.
Oh, you're welcome.
So right now, I'm going to turn the platform over to you so you can kind of paint the picture for us.
Okay.
And you are set, my friend.
Alrighty. Well, I'm a truck driver, and I drive the same route every day, and I've done it for like 6 or 7 years. And it's 33 south, or 32 south, and I've drove it for years. I've never seen anything other than regular animals and stuff like that. Well, this day, I was on my second load, coming back from where I haul the stuff to. I was coming down the road, and there's like a tree line, and then there's a big field, and then on the other side there's a tree line. Well, I seen something coming through the field. Of course, first thing pops in your mind is deer. And I was going probably 55 miles an hour at that time until I seen it, and then I started slowing down. And the closer it got, the bigger it got. And then I thought, well, maybe it's a bear. And then, but I had like 100 feet to go, and it had like a half a mile through the field to go. That's how fast this thing was. Now, and I got almost to the top.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
But that field is kind of at an angle uphill.
Yeah, it's uphill.
Now, is the grass or the weeds in the field, how high is that for it to travel through?
It was probably 2-3 feet tall.
So it's got some resistance as well.
Yeah, like a hay kind of like field.
Okay.
But by the time I got like almost to the top of the hill, it was already up there, and it jumped off the bank right in front of my truck, and I stopped. And you know how the air does on a big truck, that real loud air.
Yep.
Didn't scare it a bit or nothing, and I was so shocked. I was like, what in the hell is that? It was standing in front of my truck, probably 10-15 feet in front of my truck, looking right at me.
Mm-hmm.
And my truck's probably, the hood of my truck's probably 5 feet up, and its shoulders was right at the top of the truck, and its head was above.
Wow.
And it was looking straight in my window at me. That's how tall it was on all fours.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at it, and it looked like it was snarling at me, but my truck's real loud, so I couldn't really hear nothing. And it just, you could see all of its teeth, huge teeth. Its eyes, the white part was yellow, like a dull yellow, and the middle was black.
So there was a pupil, kind of.
Yeah,
okay.
Like a black pupil. But around around that was yellow, like
All
a
right.
dull yellow color.
Yep.
But the front, from its shoulders front, was black, pure black. And from there back, it was the color of a hyena. And it was shaped like a hyena in that slope, because its back legs was short and its front legs was real long.
Okay.
And it had 3 toes and one like mandible claw or dew claw or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
like
it.
a dew claw, like a dog has. Yeah.
Yes, but it wasn't on the road. It was like sticking up.
Okay.
And the claws, it had claws. I'd say the claws was probably an inch long. This thing probably weighed 600 pounds. That's how big that thing was. And it just sat there or stood there in the road and stared at me. And the noise of the truck and the air and stuff on that truck didn't even faze that thing.
Right.
And I thought, if that thing wants me, it can rip this truck apart and get me. You know, because I had no weapon, no nothing.
Right. Right.
But and its ears was on the top of its head, and it had like a, I don't know, like a mane, like kinda.
Kind of like a lion's mane around its shoulders area, or?
Yeah, kind of like that, and then it went down its back, like in the center of its back.
Okay.
So far down, but it looked shorter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it
Was
really
real
kind of
hairy.
represented. It kind of really resembled a hyena.
Yes. The way the hair and stuff is on a hyena is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But the spots and stuff on the back part of it and everything looked just like a hyena. And the shape, like it sloped down like a hyena. And when it run through the field, how a hyena's got that weird run, that's what it was doing.
Like a kind of a together lope, kind of.
Yeah, like a gallop like thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. I do. Wow.
But yeah, it was massive. That thing was absolutely huge.
Was there a tail? Could you see if there was a tail, or what was?
It was just like a little short, like tail.
Like a stump, kind of.
Kind of like a short tail of a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not a stub, but probably 6-8 inches long.
Kind of like what a whippet or something would have, really
Yeah.
small. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. And it stood there and looked at me. It seemed like forever, which I don't think it was too long, you know, because my heart was a pounding and I was just terrified.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Well, why wouldn't you be, you know?
Yeah. And I'm 53, and I've lived here my whole entire life. And I've been in all the woods around here, you know, and never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I've seen all the other animals, but not something like that. And it stood there and stared at me, and all of a sudden it kind of turned to the right and grabbed a full-grown deer that was laying there, picked that thing up, and took off and jumped the ditch and went up a steep bank and turned to the right. And, you know, I watched it go, and when it got out of sight, I took off in my truck, and I looked there thinking maybe somebody hit that deer or something like that with a car.
Yeah.
There wasn't no parts of a car there. There wasn't no blood, nothing. It was like it knew that deer was there because it run right to where that deer was. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on down the road, probably 100 yards, and it was like a little cove, and there was rocks on both sides of the cove. And I was going down through there, and here come another one out that cove and across the road, went down over the hill. But it was a lot smaller than that one, but it looked just like it.
Like size-wise, because like this big one, 600 pounds. If you could guess, what would you say this one was?
I'd say 250, maybe 3. It was like half the size
Okay.
of the big one. But if that big one would have stood up on back legs, it would have been 8, 9 feet tall. Because my truck's 8 foot wide, and it was wider on all fours, longer than my truck.
Right.
Front end.
Wow.
So you just imagine how big that thing was if it would have stood up, you know.
Yeah, what, easily 8, 9 feet at least.
Yes.
Because you said when that thing turned, this really quick, just so everyone knows, this is the second time Mark and I are doing this upload because I had an issue with the recording thing. So,
yeah.
But when you said that thing turned sideways, it was at least 8 feet long because your truck is about 8 feet wide in the front.
Right.
Wow. I mean, that's huge.
So when it stood up, it would have been 8 feet or taller.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was like 10, 15 feet from it. It was right in front of me. Right in front of me, right in the road.
Jeez.
And this was my second load. It was around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that field is a wide open field. Like it wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't trying to hide, it was coming through the field.
Like like you and I had said earlier, almost like it knew its deer was there, and you posed a threat to its dinner, and it came to kind of square off with you and say, hey, this is mine, get out of here.
It got between me and the deer. It was just, teeth was showing, and it was staring straight at me.
That is absolutely terrifying. Terrifying.
You know, and people's got to be careful, because if I would have hit that thing and got out of that truck, the other one probably would have got me.
Yeah.
Or maybe it would have, you know. I mean, of course, I probably wouldn't have had the guts to get out of the truck, but
right.
I'm just saying, you know.
Right. And then, like, you and I had talked before and after the first part that we did. And I had talked to you a little bit about the Delaware or the Connecticut encounter with the ambulance guy. And these things are tactical. So, I mean, if you had hit it, like you said, you might not even hurt the big one. But that second one easily could have taken you out, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's terrifying. And it was like
it was standing up there waiting for the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like you said,
it was up above, like there's a little hill like there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it would have kept running, it would have been gone.
Right.
So it had to stop, and that one stopped, and was probably up there watching.
Yep.
Because
so he was on the other one was on the opposite side of you, from.
It was on down, like 100 yards down.
Okay.
Down the road, past the big one.
Yeah. Yeah. When you said, because you had mentioned you had looked to see if there was any blood, it's almost like those things kind of pushed the deer to its death. You know, ran it to death.
That's what I thought, because there was nothing there.
Yeah.
It's like the deer just run up there and just fell over. And they was running together. So, I mean, I thought they just run it to death.
Yeah, that's, Jesus.
So,
wow. And the location of this area is what's the land like out there?
Oh, it's nothing. It's forest. It's real thick. You know, anything could be in that area.
Right.
It's in Tucker County.
So you've got forest. There's some cave systems out there, like you had said prior.
Yeah. Mountains everywhere.
Deer population, because you can't hunt out there because is it state land or?
Yeah, you can't hunt out there. There's any given time you can look like in any field and see 30 or 40 deer in the field eating. So there's plenty of deer.
And there's fresh water. So this is a pretty good location for these things to, stay permanently. It's almost like a permanent area for them.
Yeah.
Why would they leave, you know?
Exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of springs, and natural springs, and it's just loaded with everything they would need.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
terrifying to even, I can't imagine what you felt like. And like you said, you didn't really know what Dogman was. I mean, I'm
no,
sure you've heard
I
of.
never even heard of
Yeah, yeah.
it. So, and there's a camp. There's a camp ground down below, a very big one. And some woman that heard my story that said she seen one that looked just like what I seen, but it looked like a baby one, like a really small one, run through her yard, and she was outside, and she couldn't figure out what it was. And then she heard my story, and she was like, "Well, that sounds exactly like what I seen."
Right. Wow.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's really.
Yeah, but I mean, it totally done me, and I just bought a brand new tent and everything was going to go camping. I ain't going. No.
Yeah.
Not now.
Definitely. And it sucks, like you said, you can't have a firearm in your truck with you. So I mean you're pretty much at whatever happens. If you had gotten in an accident, you were screwed. Even if you didn't hit it and you got ditched, you were definitely screwed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it could have come in that truck anytime it wanted to.
It's incredible.
So,
it is incredible. Now, your wife had reached out to me, and she had did some research and got some pictures. And there's a creature that she found, or a picture that she showed you of a creature called like a Andrewsarchus, some kind of Mongolian canine-like creature. And that picture that you guys are seeing right now is going to be the closest thing to what Mark saw.
That's the closest that I could see that would fit what it was.
I mean, that's just looking at the picture, and I can't imagine what you felt.
I ain't never been so scared in my damn life, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's
and
definitely.
I'm still jumpy. Like, if I'm out somewhere, I just, I'm always looking around because you don't know what's out there, I'm telling you.
No, you really don't.
I lived here for 53 years, and I've been down that road, like I said, 2-3 times a day, every day, through the same exact spot, and never seen a thing until that day.
And you haven't seen it after either. That's the strangest part, because, and like you said, during the first thing that we did, the woods are so deep and so thick out there. There's spots that human beings haven't been to.
Yeah, there's places you couldn't even get.
Yeah,
it's so thick and stuff. So
I mean, you may never see. This was probably a chance sighting.
Yeah.
Of your life, you probably will never see this thing again. These two things again. Hopefully, you don't.
Yeah, hopefully I don't. But I mean,
yeah, where you
in
saw
in a weird way, you kind of want to, but in another way, you don't want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think once is enough.
Yeah. Now, the area that you live in, with all the woods and stuff, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Sasquatch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this thing is like probably made a Sasquatch would dwarf or this thing would make a Sasquatch probably look small if I'm how I'm picturing you telling me it,
Yeah, it would.
That's incredibly, it's terrifying. I cannot, dang.
It was,
I mean, you're in the biggest land vehicle. That's the thing, is you're in the biggest land vehicle. Cars don't like being near tractor trailers. And this thing just stops and says, "This is my deer. What the heck are you doing? Get out of here."
It was not scared one bit of that damn truck. I thought when the air went off, it was scared. No, it didn't.
Yeah, because the air is like a big... For those of you who don't know, when the air brake goes off, it's like a big release. It's just a huge sound.
It's real loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it didn't even flinch that thing. It didn't do nothing. And you're talking a big truck that's loud.
Yeah.
And it just stood there and stared at me, like telling me, this is mine, you ain't getting it, kind of thing, snarling at me.
Yep.
I was like, I thought, well, you think you're going to die, even if you're in a big truck, when you see something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any clue of what that creature is thinking, No. So, wow. Well, I appreciate you doing a second round, and I apologize for my equipment kind of messing up.
It's pouring the snow anyway. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience before we end the interview?
Just be careful, and anytime you go in the woods, make sure you got a powerful weapon, because I never in a million years thought I would ever see something like that. I've been in these woods my whole life, and if I would have known that was in the woods, I wouldn't have been in the woods.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I haven't been in the woods since either. Yep. So,
oh yeah,
you never know when you might see something like that.
Yeah. And everyone, this is recent. This isn't years ago. This was last April.
Yep.
So it's less than a year ago, and this poor guy still has to travel that road 4 times a day, going in and going out.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's a lot of stress in that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
Do me a favor, don't hang up. I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate you doing a second round and being a good sport about that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And be safe, and hopefully you don't see anything out there again. But if you do, please keep me in the loop, because I'd like to know.
Oh, I will.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Wow, super nice guy. I had a great time talking with him a little bit before and a little bit after. I really enjoyed that interview. It's absolutely insane to think that things like this run through our wilderness of America. Actually, tomorrow, in tomorrow's upload, you guys will see that I had an incident in the woods where Tom Mezek disappeared just today. I was up there. And it was very strange and not cool at all. I really, honestly, I felt like I was being stalked today. And I swear on everything that I hold dear that there was something down off an embankment that I thought I saw, but I just quite couldn't. And there's some weird stuff happening with my camera too, so I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you, and may the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life. Please, everyone, stay safe.